Trump is not taking the Republican string of defeats very well from Tuesday. And instead of having any kind of actual introspection about how and why every candidate that he endorsed lost, he is now demanding the Congress that they cave to his demand that he says would lock the Democrats out of power for good. Let's take a look.
The biggest thing is the filibuster. We have to get the country going. We will pass legislation at levels you've never seen before, and it'll be impossible to beat us. By the way, if they do, they're going to do it anyway, and they are going to immediately do the filibuster. They're going to pack the court. They're going to make D.C. a state, and they're going to make Puerto Rico a state. So now they pick up 2 states. They pick up 4 senators, okay? You think you have problems? They're going to do all of the things. They're going to pick up electoral votes. It's going to be a very, very bad situation. And it's done. It's done. As soon as they attain power. Now, if we do what I'm saying, they'll most likely never attain power because we will have passed every single thing that you can imagine that it's good and all good for the country.
So there he was speaking to senators, trying to convince them that they need to eliminate the legislative filibuster because without it, they can just push everything they want through Congress. And a lot of people don't love the filibuster. I don't love the filibuster. It does stifle a lot of progress in our country. But Trump sees the writing on the wall that if he doesn't actually start doing something for the country, his legacy will be destroying the Republican Party ultimately, just like Lindsey Graham had once upon a time predicted. So there is still some serious opposition from Republican senators to that. Coming out of that meeting, Majority Leader John Thune said, "I've said before, there are not the votes there." Say that there are not the votes there is what he said. Okay, I read that right. So majority, that was from John Thune, adding that Trump could have some sway with members, but I just know where the math is on this issue in the Senate. And several GOP senators also reiterated Wednesday that they would not support a change. Opposition from just 4 of the 53 Senate Republicans could stop Trump's demand cold. Trump appeared to acknowledge Wednesday that he doesn't have the votes, but said he hoped to sway some senators. "I'm going to go by your wishes," he said, "but it's a tremendous mistake. I'll go by your wishes, but I think you're wrong. I hate your wishes, and you don't have the votes. You don't have the votes." All right, so let's say hypothetically that they do get rid of the filibuster to pass popular legislation. That's what Trump says is popular, may not actually be popular. And what populist policies have they ever pushed? If they did get rid of the filibuster, I predict that we're gonna see nothing more than a deluge of culture wars, anti-trans legislation. He's very scared of Puerto Rico. He's very scared of Washington, D.C. He's very scared of the Democrats getting any more power ever. So one of the things that a lot of people, Republicans who still oppose getting rid of the filibuster is, you know what? I think it was Mike Johnson who said, if we were on the other team, I wouldn't be very happy about this. And that's a good reason as any, as far as why they have opposed getting rid of the filibuster this whole time. Because that is a concern, right? If and when the other party has the majority, then the Republicans are screwed. But Trump's plan is to just pass everything now so that even if the Democrats get into power, all the laws have already been passed. So there's nothing else to do. There's nothing that anyone can do. And I did reference Hamilton, the musical just now. And I didn't do this on purpose, but that makes sense because we can thank Aaron Burr for the filibuster as we know it today.
I mean, the filibuster as we know it today has only been around since the 70s, let's be honest. Here's the thing, it is all, the Senate fancies itself the single greatest deliberative body in the world. And as such, they can talk about things for literally ever. And they don't want to take that away from themselves. The founding fathers of this country, there also used to be a filibuster in the House of Representatives. It was called the silent filibuster. All you do is avoid them having the ability to say there's quorum by just not responding. When they eliminated the silent filibuster, they did so during the Civil War. In the run-up to the Civil War, where they locked the doors from the outside and just started calling people here. And there was a giant fight on the in chaos because people tried to leave and duck out the, like Abraham Lincoln dove out the window of the state house in Illinois to avoid the reversal of the silent filibuster when they did that in Illinois back when he was before he was president. Like there's a lot of ways that the rules develop over time. And most of it is at the whims of the people who are confident that the decision to use that power is absolutely necessary right now. Everything Donald Trump is saying about like passing laws that will enshrine things forever, false. It's just not the case. People will go in, and if it's a bad enough and unpopular enough law, they will find a way to undo it. But the one thing that makes me believe in the inertia of the Senate is that like they don't want their stuff undone. They don't want things to change. Like they want it to be very difficult to create a law or do anything in America. That's one of the most American things. If you look at the way that our country was set up, it's tough to make change. They want to make sure that everybody agrees with it before something happens. Now there's all these rules jerks that are out there like manipulating the rules and finding ways to put things in, and it's very difficult to undo it. I don't think they're gonna get rid of the filibuster. I think this is all filibluster. And I think that there have been things that were peeled back, like and norms that have been torn asunder, specifically like Mitch McConnell saying that because Harry Reid made it easier to appoint certain judges, that Mitch McConnell no longer has to allow Merrick Garland. That was a good calculation by McConnell that resulted in what we have now, power balance wise, in the Supreme Court. But that is not the nature of undoing the filibuster now. It would just make it so there's a lot of back and forth in laws whenever different people are in charge. That said, like I don't think that if the Democrats get in charge, they're gonna pack the Senate. But the last thing I'll say is it's worth reminding everybody that the Senate is already swayed toward Republicans. There are more empty states with fewer people represented by 2 senators apiece, yielding more power for the Republicans anyway. If they need to get rid of the filibuster, they've already lost.
Yeah, and like the whole idea that things are tough to change in this country, that's not always like a bad thing. I'm not saying that you said it was a bad thing, but there is something to be said about things need to be deliberated upon. They have to have some kind of staying power, because if you start just changing things, you get a back and forth. But ironically, that is what we've kind of been dealing with for the last couple of decades, really, in this country. The last few administrations, I'll say, just a lot of back and forth. There's a lack of stability. I'm not a fan of the filibuster, but yeah, I don't see that they're going to get rid of it. I don't see things going the way that Trump wants it to. And I think both parties are anxious to get rid of the filibuster, because the filibuster right now, as it's being practiced in this country, is that even if you're not the party in charge, you still have some sway. So if you can't enact your legislation, you can block the other side from enacting theirs. And at the end of it, we have like a lot of instability, a lot of uncertainty in this country, and nothing actually changes or gets done or progresses forward. And the conservative party, all right, I've always said, are less conservative than they are regressive. So they're trying to go backwards, we're trying to go forwards, and we're not getting anywhere.